All right. So welcome everybody to the updated Green Masters program launch. Woohoo! As I said, this is a very exciting day for us. Krista and I have been working very hard over the last, what feels like years at this point, to bring all of us to this juncture where we get to actually launch this program, to show you it, to get you in there. And so that's what we're here to talk about today. So I'm going to start by introducing myself. I'm Jessie Cervi-Ortiz, the Managing Director of the Wisconsin Sustainable Business Council. Most of you may know me since you're members. If I haven't met you in person, I look forward to meeting you soon. And we have Krista with us today. Krista, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, Krista Kainanen. I am the manager overseeing the new Green Masters program, working with Jessie, and we're excited to show you what we've put together.
Yeah, so Krista is the Green Masters program manager. So if you have questions, you can always reach out to her, and you can always reach out to me about the program or anything going forward. So really, we're your program support right here. And most of you know our mission is to advance sustainable principles and practices forward through the power of business. I like to remind everyone, including myself, of our mission. It's really why we're here. It's why this is an exciting juncture for us to bring this program to help us live this mission. And we do this through educating, through measuring, improving, and facilitating connection. And today, really, though your member benefits are categorized in those buckets, and the Green Masters program is a tool that's free to you as members to help measure and improve your sustainability outcomes. So we're going to be talking a bit about how to do that with the tool today. So as I mentioned, my animation didn't work there. Right, as I mentioned, measure and improve the access to the Green Masters program tool is a free member benefit to you. So here's our agenda today. We are going to talk about why the new program platform. We're going to talk about some of the highlights. We're going to offer a demo for you of the program, kind of show you around. We're going to tell you how you get started in the platform, and then we're going to show you where to find all the supporting documentation about the program. We're going to talk about the working groups that are going to kick off in May, and then answer any questions that you might have along the way. Feel free to use the chat to ask questions. I'm okay if you interrupt me if you have a burning question and you want to say, come off mute and say, hey, Jessie, what about this? Or you can save your questions to the end. I'm pretty open to any of that. All right, first, as we get started, I am going to go ahead and launch a poll here. I'm curious, what is your experience or knowledge level of the Green Masters program historically? So if you would just let us know if it's brand new to you, if you have heard about the program but never applied before, if you've tried to apply but got overwhelmed, if you have applied previously, just once or more than one time. That'll just help me kind of speak to those of you who are just starting and those of you who are transitioning from the old platform to the new platform. It looks like almost 80 of you have responded to that, so I'll give it just a couple more seconds. All right, and the results are sort of coming in as it's brand new to me at 22%. I've heard about it, but not applied before at 7%. I've applied one time at 11%. And then most of you, so nearly 60% have applied more than once. So you're a seasoned Green Master program participant. And so this is still going to be new for you, but you're probably most eager to hear about the changes. All right, let's see. So those are the results I just shared and just mentioned. I have another quick poll for you that I wanted to launch here. And so that is, what do you most want to get out of today's presentation? So I want to make sure we're answering your questions along as we go. I will do my best to cater to both of you who are brand new and those of you who are existing, and just kind of level setting what your expectations are for today. So what do you want to get out of it? Learn what's new, understand the change, how to get started in the program, what support systems are available to you, where do you go with questions, and how to leverage the program for sustainability success, and anything else. And if you answer other, please feel free to type your thoughts in the chat if you want to share. And I think on this question, you can put more than one thing. So if you have more than one goal, go ahead and check more than one box. All right, we just 2 more seconds here. We're almost at 90%, so that's great. All right, so I will go ahead and share these results with you as we talk through them. So it looks like, yeah, the majority of you are just wanting to see what's new, understanding the change, and how to get started. And then what support is available to you along the way. Great. So again, and how to leverage the program for sustainability success. Great, that's the other top one here. So we will talk about that as well. All right, so thank you for participating. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us as we get started here. All right, so let me just get my view situated here. And okay, so for those of you who are newer to WSBC, I thought it would be nice to just kind of share what our timeline has been. So many of you know Tom Eggert, our founder. He launched WSBC back in 2007 with the UW-Madison. He was a professor there. Several of you know that story. The pilot of the Green Masters program was launched in 2009. In 2019, WSBC was acquired by WMEP Manufacturing Solutions. So now we are owned and operated by WMEP. In 2020, we were planning and designing our membership program, and we did sort of an extensive market research and survey of our current Green Masters program participants to learn from them what they wanted and what they needed inside of the program. So a lot of what you'll see was driven from that, and I'll kind of talk about those goals. And then in 2021, we launched membership. We have, like I said, been working on this update for about 2 years now. So we're here at 2023 launching it to you today. I like to just share this slide to remind everyone what sustainability means to us when we talk about sustainability. And it's the pursuit of business growth strategy that creates long-term stakeholder value by seizing opportunities and managing risks related to your environmental and social impacts. So this is an important definition because sustainability means a lot of things to a lot of people. But this is really saying that we are here to help you create long-term stakeholder value for your organization and to help you better support your sustainability integration in those environmental and social impacts of your organization. And really, again, the Green Masters program is the primary way for you to do that. So why the change, really? The sustainability conversation has evolved, right? We started in the 90s with the triple bottom line language. We have evolved very recently to a very big impact around environmental, social, and governance, or ESG. A lot of those outside factors and the change of sort of the landscape all around us has had us reflect on how the tool could be more useful for you as an organization. And so while the triple bottom line talked about the social bottom line and the impact on the environment, that was sort of vague, right? And it didn't really give us a formula or a framework for how to integrate those things. And so really today, the conversation is that each of these areas, environmental stewardship, social responsibility, governance and leadership, and strategy and execution, have equal roles to play in designing and developing and implementing a sustainability plan or strategy. And so this tool is really designed to help leverage each of these. So the goals for the program were drive systems development and sustainability integration, to be accessible, meaning affordable to all, easy to use. For those of you who've been with us a long time, you know, each year you had to refill out the survey and that could be cumbersome. In this platform now, one of the biggest and most exciting sort of advancements are that your work will save year over year. And so when it comes time to log in, all the information that you've previously entered will be there in existence for you to just edit or change or update, make adjustments to. It's also, our goal is for it also to be comprehensive and linked to international standards. So again, you know, we did extensive research on all of the frameworks and platforms that are out there, you know, took a lot of what existed in sort of those standards and put them into the program. So we also wanted it to offer immediate feedback. So before you clicked a button, submit, and it came to us and we had to do some magic behind the scenes, and then you got what happened, you got your scores or your results. In this program, you'll be able to see immediately how you're doing. And again, this kind of goes back to the easy to use part, but we wanted to minimize time and resources required for your team. So those are all the things that are in the platform now. This is our initial launch. We're really planning for this to be an ongoing tool that we develop based on your feedback and your needs and your thoughts. So we still need to add in some of the benchmarking components. That is one of the things we'll be working on next. We, at this juncture, intend to increase the use of sort of quantitative versus qualitative data in the program, so it can be more of a resource for sharing businesses' story on the impacts that we're having. And then we're talking about just sort of changing up the recognition and adding some new ways of recognizing companies by sector, by industry, and by size. Those are still to come. So I wanted to make this part maybe a little interactive. So this is a list of the top challenges that we have heard, that I hear often from businesses, that we've surveyed our members on their top challenges around implementing and integrating sustainability. I'm curious how these resonate with you. If you want to type in the chat anything, like what are your top challenges right now for integrating sustainability? So if you want to go ahead and type in the chat, I see Margaret was asking a question with the new launch. Will our answers be loaded into the platform or would it be a blank slate? That's a great question. We are starting from scratch. The program itself is so different that we could not really find a way to sort of load in the historical data. So it's a fresh start.
And I would note as well, benchmarking will be the same. Benchmarking will be a fresh start for this year.
Thanks, Krista. Great. So yeah, thoughts in the chat are, it's hard to prioritize what's important. That's one we hear often. Employee and subcontractor bandwidth. Yeah, we're agreeing with employee bandwidth here. For some, prioritization and cost, getting buy-in, too many disclosures and frameworks, buy-in from leadership, quality data, how to store data, getting buy-in. So yeah, so these are great. Lack of people. So I hear that your challenges are similar to what's on the screen here, and just kind of across the board, some of the common challenges that folks have with implementing sustainability. Incorporating it into your existing environmental management system. Great, so all great. So I will kind of try to speak to these, and Krista, feel free to chime in at any point on how the new tool tries to address some of these as we go. All right, so we just talked a little bit about the problem, and again, we're here to celebrate the launch of the solution, which is the Green Masters program. So the way we're defining that is that it's a framework to define, prioritize, manage, and improve your company's sustainability performance. So really kind of the top benefits of the program are listed here. The program helps you define the scope of what's important to your organization through materiality. So through the materiality assessment, you have the opportunity to scope your sustainability disclosure and program based on what's most important to you and based on what's most important to your stakeholders. It provides a framework to develop and integrate and grow systems for sustainability. That's a big one, so that you're able to integrate these systems across your other existing business systems. Okay, so it helps provide prioritization and a roadmap. So I heard somebody say that their sustainability is such a big topic. You don't know how to prioritize. You don't know what to focus on necessarily. This really helps kind of cut through that and provide what should and could be the most important for your organization. Now so that's one of the biggest changes. Now we did take a lot of the best practice ideas that were in the previous Action Manager and put them in the program. So they are best practices. And then of course you get the access to peer-to-peer learning. So you get a support network in each other here to support you along the journey. All right, so there are three main components of the new program. Okay, so the first is systems development and integration. So a lot of the questions are focused on helping you develop a system for tracking, measure, monitoring, improving, and integrating what you're tracking and measuring in sustainability. There's also best practices. So as I mentioned, we brought a lot of those best practices over from the previous version and put them into this program. And then also new is it actually has some performance improvement. So you're going to be measuring your success based on your goals in that you're setting for yourself and how you're able to achieve those goals. Essentially, we used to call the old program an Action Manager. It was a way for you to manage your actions across the 9 categories you see here. What we've moved to is more of an integrated framework. So now we have 4 categories in the program. We have environment, society, workforce, and governance and leadership. And then within those 4, we call them dimensions. Within those 4 dimensions, you have categories or topic areas. So those topic areas include, for example, under environment, energy management, greenhouse gas, sustainable transportation, water resource management, and so on. So the categorization is different. Also, one of the key differences is before you had to be taking an action in all of the 9 areas in the Action Manager to qualify for the program. What's dramatically different now is that we are not prescribing for you what is important for you because we have expanded the categories to be more comprehensive and aligned with other ESG frameworks. It's sort of not practical for you to do all 15 of these categories, right? They might not even apply to your organization. As a service provider, for example, water resource management might not be a material category. But if you're a manufacturer, it's very likely that energy management should be on your list, right? And so in the tool, you'll be able to select which of these are most important to your organization. So again, the program is going to help you measure and improve your sustainability performance by defining, prioritizing, and managing just what's important to you. So another exciting announcement is that the Green Masters program is now officially a registered certification mark. And so it technically is a assessment. So it's a third-party credential that validates your sustainability program. One of the things we will be working on is sort of an optional auditable version of the program, if people want that third-party certification to coincide with it. That won't be mandatory, and that will be an additional fee, but it's probably realistically about 2 years away. Again, the program has historically been really great at recognizing program users for their success. That will still be a big part of this, but as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be sort of expanding the way that we recognize businesses through this program. And then you get to use this registered logo in your marketing in whatever way, shape, form that is meaningful to your stakeholders or customers, to share that your business is certified as a Green Master in the Green Masters program, as working on what's material to your organization. So again, the program really helps develop a roadmap. And so how does it do that? It follows this plan, do, checked, act cycle. So the first stage is really helping you assess what your material topics are. From that process, you will be able to set your business priorities. So you only have to select that which you are really going to wholeheartedly focus on as a business priority for that year or those coming years, okay? Then from there, you can plan and embed those systems into your business systems. In the planning stage, you will set metrics and goals, and then of course you move to executing those metrics and goals, and you evaluate and you adjust as you complete projects, as you, maybe your business acquires a new company and you need to adjust. It's a part of the process in this cycle. So again, it's a continuous cycle of continuous improvement. And it's, again, the program is really set up to help you integrate systems for being in this continuous improvement cycle. All right, we mentioned materiality is a new part of the program, and it's a big part of the program. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how that works, and then you're going to get to see it. So sustainability is a very big topic. We said we are starting with 15 categories. You cannot address every risk or every opportunity that, comes your way. So the way that we define a material issue is one that could substantively affect your organization's credibility, operational or financial integrity, or the decision of key stakeholders. So it is something that is meaningful to your organization. We call that a material issue. So through the materiality assessment process, essentially you're going through and identifying what is most important, and what you want to focus on and what you want to pursue for credibility and operational integrity. So this process is really important. Don't underestimate it. However, you can just start with where you're at, right? You don't have to go out and conduct a materiality assessment to get started. I would recommend maybe sitting down with a leadership team or assembling a team, a Green Masters team, I'm a green team, whatever that looks like, how your organization is structured, and talk through it. Just talk through, but make sure you're aligning it with your overall company priorities. Okay, that again is how you get integrated into your business systems and you get more buy-in across the organization if what you want to do in sustainability matches, is in alignment with your overall organizational strategy and goals. Okay, so that process will help inform what your business priorities are in the program. All right, so I sort of talked about these dimensions and topics, and I think we're gonna take a moment. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna hand it over to Krista, and she's gonna actually get to show you the tool and how to get started in it.
Thank you, Jessie. All right, so we are gonna head over to the platform. Here it is. Can everyone see it all right?
Looks good.
Excellent. So this will be the landing page that you see first when you enter the platform. In a few minutes, Jesse will go through the registration process and how to actually access this for you as members. But this is where you'll come in. You'll start with filling out some basic information about your company. You can choose to respond to this assessment for a single facility, multiple facilities within your organization, or corporate wide. We ask that you list the facilities that will be included in the assessment, specifically if you're responding for multiple facilities. So the business information at the top can be the main or primary location for your company. And then the additional facilities included in the assessment would be any others. If you're responding for a corporate-wide coverage, for example, maybe you have like 20 or more facilities, you don't have to list all of the facilities. The multiple facilities option would be simply if you're responding to a subsection of facilities for your organization. And as part of your membership, you will have an opportunity to have multiple facilities with their own login information to respond as single facilities if you choose to use the tool in that way. And we can get into more of that if you have any specific questions about what that would look like. So we do recommend saving often. So even though I didn't make any changes, I'm going to hit save and then go on to next. So next step in using the platform will be a materiality worksheet. So one point I want to make here is that this tool is an opportunity for you to record what's material to your organization. So going through this process doesn't necessarily replace the process of evaluating which topics are material to your organization. Jesse gave some good recommendations around how to do that process using this tool. However, I do just want to point out that the tool itself, right, doesn't necessarily replace that process of evaluating and making informed decisions about what's important to your business and what's important to your stakeholders, which can be internal stakeholders or external stakeholders. So we can talk a little bit more about that in a little while, but wanted to point that out. This is really a tool to record, to prompt conversations, but it wouldn't take the place of completing a materiality assessment for your organization. So one nice feature about this platform is that if you see these little question marks, you can hover over it. We'll have definitions, additional resources. And this one, we link to our Green Masters program guidance website that has some additional guidance and information about materiality and what it means within the Green Masters platform. Jesse will go through that in a few minutes. And then definitions for each one of the topics. Again, there's 15 topics across 4 dimensions. We did break out workforce and society. I know this can sometimes be in traditional ESG disclosure, those would be combined. We felt like for the users of this program, workforce may warrant a standalone topic. So that's split out. So for each one of these topics, you simply move the slider bar to indicate the degree of importance or impact that your organization sees to your business and also to your stakeholders. So from here, again, hit save as you go through. If you move on to the next page without hitting save, you will lose your work. So hit save as you go and then click next. And then you'll see the results of your materiality assessment displayed in a traditional materiality matrix. We think a nice feature of this is you can actually take a screenshot and then you can use this as part of your company disclosure, right? To demonstrate what topics you've considered, how you've made the determination about what you're going to pursue. And then it is visually kind of nice with how it lays out. So if you're looking to use this in your company disclosure, we recommend you can just grab a quick screenshot here. All right, so this is really informational. There's nothing to report here. However, the next step is to select your business priorities. So again, in a traditional materiality matrix, the topics to the top right are going to be priority topics or most important. And as you move to the bottom left, topics are less important. So on the y-axis, you have importance to stakeholders. And on the x-axis, you have importance to the company or internal stakeholders. And so the topics in this upper right quadrant are going to be your highest priority topics. We recommend starting again, as a reminder, right? Not every company can address every risk or pursue every opportunity. We recommend starting with your highest priority topics. So for an organization just getting started in sustainability, that's probably not going to be more than 3 to 5 topics. Again, we'll look at the questionnaires in a moment, but these are fairly extensive questionnaires for each topic. Again, really looking to drive integration of your material topics into how you do business, to really make it part of the fabric of how you do business as a company or as an organization. And so in this page, you'll select the material topics or your priority topics, and that should be informed through the materiality evaluation process. Again, if you're looking at the materiality matrix, you can use that visual of the topics that are at the upper right-hand corner. And then, start with 3 to 5 if you're getting started. And then as your sustainability program matures, as you have the capacity to integrate additional topics, you can expand from there. I know a lot of participants today said, you've used the Green Masters program for a long time. And so you might be beyond, 3 to 5 topics. You might be able to jump in to 5, 7, 10 topics. Again, we just want to remind you that these topics, the coverage of each topic is significantly expanded. So keep that in mind as you're selecting your priority topics, but priorities change over time, and the platform does allow the flexibility to add or remove business priorities depending on what your organization needs. And next, I'm going to go again, remember to hit save as you go through each one. So next would be priority management. This is where you actually get to the questionnaires themselves. So sustainable transportation in my high-level materiality assessment was ranked as a top priority. And so that appears first in the list. And so here's some of the questions. So for example, we start each topic with specific metrics that would be best practices to track those metrics for that topic. It goes through establishing a baseline, a goal, having resources to achieve your goal, having a policy, integrating that issue into your business management systems and processes, responsibility and accountability for that issue being integrated throughout the organization, sharing progress with relevant employees. And then we get into some best practices. So again, these are going to be a little bit different for each organization. The platform recognizes that not all best practices will be applicable to all facilities, and the scoring reflects that, right? So for example, in this topic, each selection in this question is worth 2 points, but there are a maximum of 8 points available, even though there are more options than that. A lot of the best practices questions are going to be presented in that way. And then the last section of each topic is going to be performance improvement. And this is roughly 30% of the scoring for each topic. So this new program, or the updated program, really does emphasize taking actions and integrating sustainability in your priority topics, such that you really see improved performance over time. So as a user, you're going to complete each question in each questionnaire that you've identified as a priority topic. Again, there are 15 topics. We don't expect companies, especially, kind of just starting out, we do not expect you to respond to every topic, but we encourage you to really take that materiality process seriously to inform your priorities and select the highest priority topics for which you're able to really integrate sustainability adequately. So again, hit save before you move on. And then the final step will be a company-specific dashboard. So in the dashboard, you can see your overall score. Your overall score is going to be a composite of all of the scores for each topic. So each topic is scored individually, and you can see how you rank in what percentage of total possible points you achieved for that topic. And then your percentage for each topic is reflected under each dimension. And then your overall score is the composite of all of your topic specific scores. Again, out of 100%, what percent of points did you achieve for the topics you identified as material? And then our recognition status, or recognition levels or status levels are also shifting. So in the new platform, the status levels will be adapting, advancing, maturing, and green master. Again, corresponding to the degree to which your priority topics have been integrated into how you do business, whether or not you're implementing best practices in those areas, and if you're seeing performance improvements. In that way, it's somewhat of a choose your own adventure, right? You could achieve green master status in a variety of ways, but in order to achieve that status, you will have to be doing all three of those things, integrating it into how you do business, implementing best practices, and seeing performance improvements. But, let's say you're not seeing performance improvements as quickly as you expected. Well, then you can use the program to identify some additional best practices that might help you achieve those performance improvements. And then you would see not only points for implementing those best practices, but also get the points associated with performance improvement. So one of our goals with this platform really is to move into an integrated approach to sustainability in the highest priority topics. And as your company grows, as you progress in the business growth strategy of, addressing risks and opportunities, then you can include additional priorities and really see sustainability help take your company to the next level. And that's what we believe. That's why we're doing this. So that's the platform. Jesse, I can turn it back over to you unless anyone has any additional specific questions on seeing the platform.
Great. Thank you, Krista. It's quite different, as I'm sure though many of you out there have been used to, just, an online survey. Again, we really built this for you to use on an ongoing basis, not to be just a check a box one time a year and be done with it, right? It's really meant to help you on a regular basis integrate those systems. So you can come in and log in. We'll talk next about sort of registration and all of that, but just so Krista did check all of the materiality topics in here just for demonstration purposes. You won't necessarily have to do that. Also, again, in the business priorities process, what you select in there, only those will show up as assessments. So just kind of wanted to reiterate that, right? See how she has all the boxes checked here. So they all showed up, but you would just uncheck it if you decide, yes, sustainable transportation is not material to us, then that will not show up in environment. Yeah. So, and as we mentioned, we'll be working on sort of some of the benchmarking capabilities. Yeah, we're eager to get you in there and get started. So, we really, really did our best to try to make sure there were no typos and all of those kind of silly things. But again, this is your tool. If you have feedback, if you see things that are wonky, please let us know.
Yeah, and we're already planning the next phase of development. So we welcome your feedback about what you'd like to see in the next, iteration or next phase. One thing I do want to point out, and I know Jesse will talk about this a little bit, but you see at the bottom of the screen, assessment period. So with the new platform, again, as a user, you'll have year-round access to the platform. And so you can use it at any point. You can save your responses as you go through the platform, as you go through the year. However, we're only accepting submissions for recognition during a select window. It's likely going to be May through September, but it'll at least be May through September. I think I could say that safely. First quarter of each year will be reserved for any updates that may impact your score or the questions available to you within the platform. We may add new questions or take questions away. Those will all happen first quarter. So this assessment period is the time you can submit your assessment for recognition within the program. And you can see right now, there'll be a little submit button. It's grayed out right now because we're outside of our assessment period window. And so as you get in and play around, you don't have to worry, at least for this week, that you'll accidentally submit anything. And if you do submit it, that's okay. You can resubmit if your responses change. So I just wanted to point that out because I realized I didn't say anything about that. Jesse, it can go back to you now.
Great. All right. Yeah, Erin had some good points there. She was saying benchmarking the scores will be huge for performance and maybe an executive summary. She's thinking of what leadership would ask for. So those are both, benchmarking is something we've already been in conversations with the developers about.
And for this year, we anticipate achieving some of that through our recognition process. So again, really expanding that recognition process beyond the top 20% achieving Green Master status will likely recognize outside of just Green Master status as well. And if you have specific benchmarking that was impactful for your organization, please feel free to share that with us. And we can see how to work that in even now as it's applicable.
All right, great. Well, continue to share your thoughts, feedback, and questions. So next up is, how do you get started? Well, because this is a member benefit, we need a verification process that you're members. And so how we're doing that is through a registration process. So there is a form. I will drop the link in the chat and I will send it in an email follow-up. It is also in the member platform on the Green Masters program page. So there's a couple of places, and it's on the documentation page. So there's several places you can find it. So it shouldn't be hard to find. It's just a form that is basic information for us to set up your account. That's what's different about this, is it's not just a survey you go to. We actually have to create an account for your organization, and there are users. There's an organizational admin, and then there are users underneath the organizational admin. We just need to know who those are so we can set that up for you. Okay, so that's what the registration process does. After that, once we set up your account, after you register, we set up your account. Once it's set up, you will get an automated email to your inbox that tells you that your account is set up and that you'll be able to log in. From there, you'll be able to log in, set your password, and start working in your account. I know many corporations have a lot of filters. So right now we say within 3 business days, you will get that. If you don't for some reason get it, please check your spam filters. If you don't find it, then just let us know. And I will have the login in the site as well. Because you can just, once your account's set up, all you need is the URL to be able to log in. Okay, then you're in, you can create your business profile and start working on your materiality. All right, so I also wanted to show you where to find registration inside the member platform. So this is what your member platform looks like when you log in. Across the top here, you can go to the Measure and Improve tab across the top. And to get started in the new platform, the registration link is right here on the bottom under the pictures. So that's where you'll find the form. I also want to point out this link that's going to be very important. It's actually outside of the member platform. It's on our regular website, wisconsinsustainability.com, GMP-communications. This website is hidden, or this web page is hidden, but it's accessible to all if you have the link. And essentially, this is where all the program guidance lives. In here, we have the registration form on the top. We also have created an instruction document. So if you remember, if you're a past user, you know when you clicked on the link to go to the survey, that first page was kind of an instruction document. We sort of expanded that to give you sort of tips and tricks and best practices and just kind of how to work through the platform. The materiality guidance is also something that that we've created for you. Essentially what that is materiality guidance by sector. So it tells you there's resources on what materiality means, how to choose what's material to your organization. And then there's also a graph that says what's likely to be material in your sector. Excuse me. All right. So there's also a framework document. This is sort of the framework component of the program. So it outlines Green Masters as a framework and standard. It's a detailed document that has lots of great information in it. There is also a terms and definitions. So anything within the platform is defined. Excuse me. And then also frequently asked questions. So we did go ahead and take a combination of our current and past frequently asked questions. So you can always start there if you have a question. If it doesn't address your question, then you can of course reach out to us. I did mention that there are logo use guidelines with the new logo registered mark. So that also appears on this page. All right, yeah, so thank you for, so I'm looking at Empire's question. What customers ask for your ISO certification? Can the third parties? Yes, so that's part of what we will be working towards creating with that certification.
But I would just offer that would probably be more a question for your customer. And if they have some specific requirements that need to be met in order to recognize the Green Masters program as an equivalent to ISO certification, then you can pass that along to us. Now's a great time to do that because as we develop some of the requirements around third-party verification or certification beyond self-certification, those are some important pieces of information for us. And so now's the time that we can accommodate as many of those requests as possible. So please feel free to pass those requirements along to us, but that would probably have to come from your customer.
All right, so we are here to support your process and your journey on this. One of the ways that we have determined to best do that is through a working group. So, you know, Krista mostly, and with some support from me, will be managing the working group. The working group will meet the second Wednesday of every month from 11:30 to 1. We'll sort of go through each of those topics. So the structure that we're anticipating for the working groups is some instruction in the beginning, some tips and tricks on the tool, sharing about the topics under each dimension, And then also the last half an hour saved for Q&A and maybe work group time. Really, it's your group again for you to get the support that you need and integrating sustainability and using this tool to help you with that. And so it's a way for you to leverage the community, to ask questions with everyone else, to get tips and tricks from us, all of that. So go ahead and mark your calendar. Krista will be the point person for that. So you can go ahead and email her. Maybe Krista, drop your email in the chat. So folks have that. So go ahead and email Krista if you want to be on that working group and get the communications about it. All right, so now I'm going to take a little bit of time to just talk about sort of overall program benefits that you can receive through going through a program and a tool like this, but also sort of having the support system and network. So again, there are a lot of tools and frameworks on the market, and a lot of them cost a lot of money and time. Our goal at this program is that it does not cost a lot of time and money. Yes, there is an investment in time that is needed to develop these systems up front, but the goal with the integration is that you put the time in up front, and then you're in that kind of continuous improvement cycle where you're just making tweaks as you go on. Again, it's a comprehensive framework. So anything and everything that we could understand to be material by sort of an international standard level around sustainability shows up in the program. So that should be meaningful to your company, to your stakeholders, to your customers, to potential future customers, and so on.
And it's also, if I may, Jessie, just add there as well, if there are topics that aren't addressed in the platform currently, but are important to your stakeholders and would be important for your sustainability journey, please let us know that. We anticipate adding additional topics as this program grows and matures, just like you will add additional topics to your business priorities as your program grows and matures. And so please let us know if there are topics that need to be addressed that aren't currently. One that is in development for the coming years would be like agriculture related, right? Animal welfare, land management sort of impacts, food safety, that sort of thing. That's one that will likely be developed by next year. So keep that in mind and let us know if there are specific topics. If it's not comprehensive enough.
Thank you. Yeah, so again, it's customizable, right? You pick your priorities and what you're focusing on. So it's really meant to work for you and align with your organization and your industry. The outcomes are measurable, right? Like the program may be a little bit harder to achieve a high status in, and that is really on purpose, because the reason we're all here doing sustainability, is because, well, for a lot of reasons. I mean, it is good for business, and we need to sort of do better by the planet and society, and so we need to make measurable strides towards our impacts there. It's a way for you to engage your stakeholders, right? You build relationships with stakeholder groups, get their thoughts, get their feelings, get their ideas. It really can help drive engagement across those stakeholder groups that are important to you. And again, if being a leader in this space is important to you, use this tool to really drive your performance in those material topics. Oh. All right, some additional benefits. You get to get recognition along the way. Again, it's a credential that sort of validates that you're really actively thinking and working on sustainability in your organization. It's also an educational tool. So if you don't really know a lot about a topic, dive into it, look around, see what questions we're asking, see what the best practices are, learn if that's something that might make sense for your organization or might not. You get to share the logo again with your market, so it can help you pick out some of your success stories. Part of the recognition should help with that as well. We know that a sustainability presence is important in the market today. A lot of folks don't know that they may be getting passed up by potential customers if they don't have a sustainability presence. And so it's a way for you to not only meet stakeholder needs, but proactively be addressing those and sort of getting ahead of any potential future regulations or anything like that. Again, it's a way to help engage your workforce. Talent, recruitment, engagement, retention is a huge issue. It's why we called out workforce, as Krista mentioned, especially for the manufacturing community in Wisconsin right now. So we really believe that this is a way to enhance and engage and get more from your employees, keep them around longer. It also can add value to what you're currently doing. A lot of times businesses are doing things in sustainability that they don't recognize are considered sustainable or a part of this sort of, ESG framework. And so it just can help sort of, again, weave the systems that you already have in play to be more integrated to one another. All right, I'm looking at the time here. There's a few other things I want to make sure that we cover. Status levels and recognition are quite different. We went from 3 levels to 4 in the new program. They're based on a percentage of possible points for what you've selected as business priorities. And so it's just mathematical, right? It's 0 to 25%, you're in adapting, 26 to 50, you're in advancing, 51 to 75, you're maturing. And if you're able to get 76% or more available points in your business priorities, you reach that Green Master status. So status is no longer just the top 20% of performers. It's really more of this mathematical equation. It may be harder for some to achieve, maybe not. It just depends. So we've got a lot of questions. Will we still be Green Masters? We don't necessarily know how to answer that because we went from 9 categories to 15. The way we ask questions is different. The scoring is different. And so you'll just have to get in and try it out. And, if any questions come up, please let us know. We did talk about the fact that we'll be expanding recognition. So we will still celebrate Green Masters, but we're going to be celebrating more than just Green Masters. We'll be celebrating like most improved or, top scorers in a category. We'll be able to see people's performance change year over year, much easier. So we'll be able to recognize the progress that you're making each year as well. So really the goal of this program is progress, not perfection. And we want you just to be working towards improving year over year. All right, if you want to jumpstart your progress, we do have a sustainability assessment that essentially will really help you do the market research and support that you need to understand what your stakeholders want and help you through that materiality assessment process. You can reach out to Krista or myself for that, or Greg. Krista and Greg are the consultants that do that. We also have our 21st Century Pathways program. If you're interested in additional support, we're also here to support you. We are at time. I do have some ways to align your business strategy to create integration. So even though we're at time, I recognize if some of you have to fall off. So what I'll do is I'll pause here just to see if there are any final questions or thoughts. And then if you want, I'll stay on a few more minutes to go through this, but I recognize that I'm out of time, that my planned time for you. So what are your reactions, thoughts, or questions if you have any? So Tom is asking, are you concerned about the scoring system based on individual priorities rather than universal initiatives? I'm not sure I fully understand that question.
So one thing, Jesse, that I think we haven't talked about quite yet, but participants can see in the guidance, the program guidance, you'll see this in program guidance. is that we have some recommendations for each status level in terms of how many topics you should be prioritizing for your organization. So again, if you're just getting started, we recommend prioritizing 3 to 5 topics, and we anticipate that would be kind of the adapting level. If you're a little bit farther along, we recommend prioritizing 5 to 7 topics. That would be that advancing level. 7 to 10 topics for like a manufacturer would be what we would expect in like a maturing level. And then to really achieve Green Master status, to be a Green Master kind of leading the way, would be 10 to up to 15 topics. We don't actually expect that any organization will truly have all topics be material, but it's not impossible. So that's been addressed somewhat through guidance, that there would be, it could be individual priorities. And in some organizations, you know, we saw even in the chat today, right, for a lot of organizations, getting leadership buy-in can be one of their biggest challenges. And so sometimes there is an internal champion who's kind of leading the way. And some of that will be addressed through a validation process when we get to that point, moving beyond simply self-certification, but truly into a validation process. But in the meantime, we're offering some program guidance, and again, will be reflected in our recognition, in our formal recognition. Does that answer the question?
From my perspective, I'll see if there's a
Oh, I understood that question, and I thought that might come up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, well, there's a few of you that stayed, so this might be some good tips or tricks here. So I'll go ahead and just kind of go through these since I prepared them for you. So really, again, assemble a team. You can't do this alone. The more people you engage and involve in the process, even if you have a sustainability title, right? Like, most likely you don't manage anybody or oversee anybody, but yet you still need information and buy-in from them. And so engage them, get their ideas. Assembling a team really does help move this process along. Again, make sure you're considering your overall business objectives and corporate-wide strategy when you're doing materiality. Again, we want you to simplify and be able to align what you're doing with the overall business. That will help with the buy-in that you're looking for. Is just having that conversation with leadership on how important is this to you? How important is this to us? But then also it acts as an opportunity for you to maybe do some education to them, right? Come prepared. Say, okay, well, that might not seem like a priority right now. And greenhouse gas, for example, you know, the SEC is considering mandating, you know, greenhouse gas disclosure. Come with some backup information on what that means in your industry so that you can build a case for that.
And I just want to offer here that, you know, we offer the sustainability assessment that kind of walks your team through that process of identifying what's material with the perspective of industry and peers, right? What are those in your industry and your peers doing? What are your customers expecting? You know, what's coming down the line to you? And we do ask for a cross-functional team that includes leadership to participate in that. So it can kind of be a good way for that team to hear maybe from a third party or an outside person what you maybe have been saying for years, but didn't get traction with, or, you know, so I just kind of offer that too, to keep in mind that sometimes having someone from the outside can help, and we can do that. So let us know if you need that support.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we're here to help. Another part of it is understanding where you are now, right? So you have a snapshot in time. Where are you and where do you want to go, right? Understanding what that gap is going to be really helpful in what you prioritize and the metrics that you need to start measuring. Align goals across business functions and value chain. again, that kind of goes back to relating to overall business perspectives. But if you can start weaving sustainability into some of the small things, whether it's supply chain or procurement or operations efficiency, or, you know, depending on what your organization is, you'll start to really create some quick wins and start illustrating the benefits for the organization. So set achievable goals, create wins, sort of a reiteration. This is a big one, and it's often difficult for sustainability professionals. Learn how to speak finance language. I remember seeing earlier that getting an ROI, calculating an ROI, or articulating the ROI was one of somebody's biggest challenges. If you can, and we have some resources for this in the member portal, or if they're not there, just reach out to me. Bob Willard's resources are really great for helping. We also have some that we use in our Pathways program for looking beyond like a traditional ROI, looking at like the cost of vacancy inside of like just not a normal calculator, but the actual overall cost to the business when you're not able to keep employees in their seats. Examples of, a traditional ROI is just how long is this going to take for me to get payback, but there are other ways of looking at projects that can integrate brand value, that can integrate customer reputation, that can integrate, sales retention. And so learning some of those tools can be really, really useful. So document and monetize your successes. So document across the process. Marketing teams love to share success stories about a business. Hook up with somebody from the marketing department and talk about how you can share your small and quick wins out as stories. And then be transparent in the process. Nobody expects you to be doing this perfectly. We're all, figuring it out as we go. Companies are making very bold goals without knowing how they're going to reach them. And so just be transparent with where you're at in terms of sustainability. I know transparency sometimes can be hard for organizations, but just align it with your overall company values and the kind of corporate culture overall. And you can't really go wrong. You don't want to risk or take the risk of lying or greenwashing or, oversaying or overstating and then not being able to achieve it. Like, it's okay to say, we're still figuring that out. We're working on waste. We might have this goal. We don't really know how we're going to achieve it. That's okay to say when it comes to sustainability. All right. Last but not least, just of course, want to share some of our upcoming events. So in May, we have an information session on membership. So if you have any businesses or colleagues that you think might really benefit from this tool or from membership, I ask that you invite them to that. It's just going to be a simple information session on what are the benefits of membership. The first Green Masters Working Group will start in May. Again, that's monthly at the second Wednesday of every month. I will be sending out an email to the member base about that. And then again, if you're interested, just contact Krista to sign up. On May 18th, we're doing, I didn't put the location on there. We're doing a tour and program on water resiliency and technology that's actually in Green Bay at Green Bay Packaging. There's two parts to that event. The morning has a tour of the mill, and the second part has a virtual session on water stewardship that includes Green Bay Packaging, WSBC, and the Water Council. You can find more information there on wisconsinsustainability.com. Also in June, we're having a crash course in sustainability. So this is on resources and tools for businesses specifically in Waukesha County. So we're partnering with the county and the Waukesha Business Alliance to just kind of share the importance and why of sustainability, and then tools and resources if you're in Waukesha County. And last but not least, if you haven't seen the save the date for our conference, please mark your calendars for November 16th at Kuna Mutual in Madison. Thanks, Krista, for dropping the link in the chat on where to find all of those. And that is all that I have for you today. So thanks, Krista, for all your hard work and getting to this point. Thank you, everybody. I hope you're all pleased. I know that change can be hard. Even, for us, this has been a big feat, but we really, really hope that this tool is going to be useful and beneficial for you on your sustainability journey. So with that, I think I will go ahead and stop sharing and the recording.